Hello and welcome to STAT C1000. My name is Greg Perkins. I am the instructor for the class. Okay, so this is the first page of the syllabus. Contact information up here, gperkins@hartnell.edu is the best way to email me. I will have in-person office hours Monday, Wednesday from 10 to 11 in the main campus, the S building, room 129. We're going to be using MyStatLab for the online homework. So I'm actually going to make a separate video to talk just about MyStatLab. So when you're finished watching this, there's going to be a link right next to it to watch the MyStatLab video. I will point out you will need to copy this code right here, course ID, Perkins 46160. I'm going to copy it now. Okay. Now let me talk about the class. So for one thing, you are going to need a Texas Instruments TI-84. This has almost all of the formulas we need programmed into it, so you don't have to do huge amounts of math. You could, if you want, so I just grabbed this from Amazon. You could, if you want, buy a new one, but I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest that if you look right here on the Canvas homepage, there's going to be this link where you could check out one from the library for free. So use that link. I'll probably move it closer to the top to check one out from the Hartnell library for free. But you do need a TI-84 calculator. All right, let's go back to the syllabus. If you scroll down a little bit, there's going to be the MyStatLab homework. So all these categories are worth the same amount, 20% of your grade. So there's the MyStatLab homework. Like I said, I'm going to make a separate video about that. There's Math13X. So until about a year ago, this class was called Math13X for the 30 years that I've been at Hartnell. And I got a grant to basically make lessons and videos and quizzes that are basically, here's the things you have to know in this class. And then I make videos where I show you exactly how to do that one thing. And then there's a worksheet that's just like it, and I just changed the numbers. So those are called Math13X. So that's basically not only extra homework, but I mean, it's like the most important homework because it's just getting straight to the point. You need to know how to do this in order to pass this class. All right, so there's the Math13X practice lessons and then the videos, or excuse me, the quizzes. Every chapter will have a chapter review, and then twice throughout the semester we'll have a project. One is going to cover chapters 1 through 6. It's basically going to be very similar to the Math13X and also the chapter reviews. It's just that it's a little bit longer because it covers more chapters, but it's the exact same ideas that you had done in the Math13X practice, the MyStatLab homework, and also on the chapter reviews. Another important thing is if you scroll to pages 2 and 3, all of the due dates are already here. So the first thing is Wednesday, January 28th, the Math13X lessons number 1 and number 2 are due. And then Friday, notice also it's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's going to be something due in this class. So rather than having a whole bunch of stuff due at the end of the week on Friday, there's a little bit due on Monday, a little on Wednesday, a little bit on Friday. So as long as you keep up, you should be able to do well in this class. Okay, so all the due dates are here, so you should save that or take a screenshot. I personally keep it on my desktop. Even though I'm the teacher, I still need to refer to it. So what's due tomorrow? Okay, let me look at, so I just keep it on my desktop right there. Okay, so all of the due dates are there. Now let's go to Canvas, and then I could talk about more specifics. So when you go to Canvas, basically whatever's due that week is going to be sitting right here on the Canvas homepage. So watch the intro video. Good job, you're doing that. Next will be the how MyStatLab works. Take a look at the syllabus that we were just looking at. Sign up for the MyStatLab. Again, that'll be in the second video. And then when you go to do the Math13X lessons, so you can just click on it. It takes you straight to the lesson. And then there's a video where I show you examples. And it's going to start off with basics, just percents, fractions, and decimals. So when you watch that video, hello and welcome to Math 13X, our very first video, lesson 1. My name is Greg Perkins and I'm going to be your host. So as I go through, I can even, part of the reason that I have the camera facing down is so that you can clearly see my work, but also so I can show you how to use the calculator. So all throughout these videos, I'm going to be showing you how to use the calculator. What's the easiest way to get this done? Here's how we do it. And then if you look at this problem, find 12% of 230. So I show you how to do that. I show you how to use the calculator. And when you go to do the actual questions, so once you watch the video, you could then do the handout, and the handouts are only just one page. Okay, Canvas is being sort of slow right now. Let me download it instead. Okay, that worked better. So basically I do the exact same questions, or you do the exact same questions on the practice part. I just changed the numbers. So you could even watch the video, watch me do number 1, 12% of 230, and then do number 1, 18% of 450. And then watch the video as I do number 2, and then come and do number 2. So with this, you could either print it out if you have a printer and show your work right here. Some people have a tablet and then they just import it and then write that on their tablet and then upload it to Canvas. Or if not, you could always, excuse me, I'll be right back, here I am. You could always just use a blank piece of paper, write down number 1 and show your work. Number 2, show your work. And by show your work, I mean do exactly what I did in the video, and then just make sure it says lesson 1, here's number 1, number 2, number 3, make sure your name is on it, and then you'll need to upload it to Canvas. So right now, this is the 20th of January, so class hasn't started. So when you view this as a student, there will be a button right about here to upload your file, and it will need to be a PDF. So take a picture of it with your camera phone. I still think it's weird we call them phones when we use them for so many other things other than phone. But anyway, so use your phone, take a picture of it, and if you're not sure how to do that, then down here on the home page, there's this link, how to create a PDF with your phone. So this guy is a community college teacher. It's not me, but he will show you 3 free ways to use your phone, either an Android, an iPhone, or just with the Cam Scanner app. So all of those are free, and he even shows you how to upload it to Canvas. So you can always go to assignments. And with me being the teacher, it's going to show everything for the whole semester. Basically, I open assignments 1 week before they're due. So if you want to go in a week early and get the work done, you can do that. If you want to wait till the last minute and this one's due January 28th at 11:59, you could do that, but it does need to be uploaded. Your work does need to be uploaded by 11:59. So basically, that's how all of the Math 13X lessons go. So you can see basically 1, 2, and then the next week do number 3 and number 4, and the next week do number 5 and number 6. But like I said, if you look at the second and third page of the syllabus here, then all of the due dates are there, everything that's due. Okay, so that's the Math 13X lessons. Then there's also going to be a quiz. So the quizzes are on Fridays. And if you look at, so if I, for example, look at Math 13X quiz number 1, not only is it based on those Math 13X lessons, but in case you forgot, then you can go, there's a link to the video, and it takes you back to the video. Oh yeah, I remember, I watched that. I remember how to do that. Or it was so interesting, you may want to watch it again. So you could watch those. And sometimes, let me see if I did it in this one. Sometimes, like if there's a question that's a little more involved, then I'll have another example.
Hello and welcome to lesson number 2 for...
And so there will be times when you're in the quiz itself and there's even hints. So hint right here. So the quizzes are meant to be very easy. They're meant to be just like the Math 13X lessons. And in total, the Math 13X lessons are 20% of your grade, and then the quizzes based on that are 20% of your grade. So 40% of your grade is based on those Math 13X practice lessons and quizzes. Okay, now let's go back to Canvas and go back to the home page. So every Monday, I will also post the two to three sections per week. I'll post those videos instead of the intro video and the MyStatLab video. And you would watch those. This first week, it's just getting these things done. You would watch those, and then you'd be ready to do the MyMathLab or MyStatLab homework. Okay, so let me see. We've got the Monday, Wednesday, Friday stuff. We've got the syllabus covered. Oh, the chapter reviews. So when it comes time for a chapter review, then that will also be posted here. Let me just bring one up. And the chapter reviews, so you don't have to do this part. If you want to go into assignments and look for it, you can, but I will also post it on the home page. So I open things a week before they're due. And if you look at the chapter 1 review, then you would just show your work or write out your explanation in the space provided. And again, if you've got a printer, you can print it out. You could also write it on a blank piece of paper. Make sure you label it well. Chapter 1 review, here's my name, here's number 1, etc. Or if you've got a tablet or an iPad, then you could do it on that. And so then these are going to be more closely related to the lectures. So this is going to have more of the definitions that are specific to the class, what sampling method was used. So, you know, these things aren't covered on the Math 13X. These are actually in the lecture videos. Okay, and like I said, the lecture videos will be right in here, where right now the intro video and the MyStatLab video are, but it's very similar to, well, it's a little bit different, only in the format. Not that you have to do anything different, but if you look at the video, I actually used PowerPoint. So if you're ever wondering where the videos are, you can go to modules, and then you can look at the section 1.1 video.
Hi, my name is Greg Perkins. I am the instructor for the...
As you can see, my room as well as my hair has changed a little bit since then. So basically I use a PowerPoint to go over the notes and definitions for that section. Okay, so that's basically it for the idea of how the class goes and where you find what's needed. So each week, look right here. I will also send out reminders every Sunday. Hey, here's what's coming up next on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Here's what's due. And you can always look here on the homepage and we'll have what's due for that week. So what I'm going to do now is go to the syllabus, make sure that I've gone over everything. So that's good. And now I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to make the video for how MyStatLab works. So you should take a break and then watch that video. But first, I'm going to copy this, and then I'll be ready to make the next video. I'll see you over there.